Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your Fade the Public NFL video for week 2 of the NFL regular season this Sunday, September the 19th. We are week 2 of the NFL, and boy, do I have some public sides for you. You know, the NFL, the public saw week 1. We saw more underdogs cover and win outright than the past 25 years of any week 1. It was random. It was crazy. And we've had a big shuffle in who the public likes within 1 week. The public is fickle, and they've changed allegiances very fast, and we're going to point that out to you. I've got 4 sides for you. Now, normally I do the most 3 public sides. I'm going to give you the 4 most public sides for this Sunday, and also my top over and under public plays. Hey, I listened to your comments. I love the feedback. Many of you said, I want to know about totals too, and I agree. I'm going to tell you the most public over and the most public under. So 6 public sides and totals for this week's Fade the Public NFL video right here on Wager Talk TV. Those are coming up in just a moment. Quick reminder, if you want my official best bets, you know, the public's not always wrong. Sometimes I side with them. Most of the time I don't. But if you want my official plays, the exact same games I'm using, the same games I've used for the past quarter century, the past 25 years as a professional handicapper, go to my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get my official NFL best bets for this Sunday. And don't forget that shortcut code, WT.buzz/SM. That's WT.buzz/SM. And while you're there, check out a fantastic all sports 1 week package with promo code Merril79. Merril79. That's 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL 79. Merril79 gets you a full 7 days, college and pro football and baseball for just $79. Must have that special promo code available on this video only. Merril79, full week of all sports for just $79. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Hey, we got a big lineup of public sides and totals this week, so let's get right to it. Basically, all these games, except for the Sunday night game, and yes, I'm going to give you the Sunday night game as well, big game between the Chiefs and Ravens here in just a moment. But the other ones are all 1 o'clock Eastern kickoffs on Sunday afternoon. And we'll go down in schedule order here. I'm going to start with, and by the way, all 4 of these sides are pretty equally rated. You know, sometimes I say there's a more public side than others, but this week they're all pretty much equally rated, pretty heavy public consensus on 4 sides this week. I'm going to point them all out to you here on this video. Let's start once again. All these first games go at 1 o'clock Eastern Sunday afternoon in schedule order. Let's take a look at the first one, the LA Rams. LA Rams opened, the look-ahead line was 3 at the Colts last week. And by the way, I'm using the look-ahead lines. These are all readily available at several sports books, including the Westgate in Las Vegas last week. These are lines that were bettable lines before the Week 1 NFL games took place. So it's very telling to see how different these lines are after just 1 game under the belt for all these teams. This one didn't move quite too much. The Rams were 3 last week on the look-ahead line. Now they're 3.5 at the Colts. But that half point's a big move. I mean, first of all, NFL field goal favorites win by exactly 3 over 10% of the time. So that half point makes a difference. And not a surprise that the public is on the Rams. Last week, one of the top 3 public plays here in this video was the LA Rams on Sunday night. In fact, that's the only game last week that the public got right. And guess what? It's also the only game in which I agreed with the public. I also had a play on the Rams last Sunday night for my clients at WagerTalk.com. You know, as I say, the public's not always wrong. We use this as a filter. And the public only got 1 of 3 right last week, and that was the Rams. And I agreed with them. So you know they're coming back strong this week with the Rams. You know, I gave you a 4th game that just missed the cut that was just a bit outside last week, and that was the Seattle Seahawks over the Colts. The public also got that one right. So you've got 2 teams here that the public benefited from last week, playing on the Rams and playing against the Colts. So not a surprise that they came back heavy once again this week with the LA Rams minus 3.5. Beware. Tough spot here for the Rams, by the way. They played that Sunday night game, first time ever with fans in the new stadium, and now they travel on a short week for a non-conference opponent. This looks like a possible letdown spot. I agreed with the Rams last week with the public. Guess what? I do not agree with them this week. It'd be Colts or pass for me in this game. LA Rams, a public side on Sunday afternoon. Another public side on Sunday afternoon is the Denver Broncos at Jacksonville. Now, this isn't probably just a play on Denver, but it's also a play against Jacksonville. You know, I've always said week 1 of the NFL regular season normally doesn't correlate for the most part to the rest of the year. We're going to look back a month or 2 from now and be like, boy, I can't believe that happened in week 1. That hasn't happened the rest of the year. And I think one situation we will definitely point out is the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars were more than a field goal favorite on the road against anybody. And that, of course, was last week at Houston. They lose 37-21. It wasn't even that close. They were down big mid-third quarter, down by over 20 points. Got some garbage points there at the end. But this is a young team under head coach Urban Meyer, first-round draft pick, number one pick overall, Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. So obviously the public wants nothing to do with them after they just got blown out by a bad Houston team on the road. They now return home. Look-ahead line, by the way, last week was going to be Denver -3. It's now 6. So this is a situation we've seen a big adjustment in the point spread. Broncos beat the Giants on the road 27-13 last week. Looked pretty good doing so, over 400 yards of total offense. Giants played a little bit better on this past Thursday night, of course, against Washington. So not a surprise the public is back in Denver, a team that looked good last week. And more importantly, they're fading a Jacksonville team that looked awful. Once again, the look-ahead line was 3. It's now 6. And keep in mind, one of the reasons fading the public works long-term is because of line value. And this is a line that's been adjusted a full field goal since last week. Once again, the Denver Broncos -6, 1 o'clock Eastern Sunday, another public side, a second public road favorite this week. Let's look at the third game we're going to talk about at 1 o'clock Eastern. It's another road favorite. In fact, there's a theme this week. All of these teams are road favorites. The New England Patriots. Patriots lost last week. Hey, I had a best bet on the Patriots last week, and that was a bad beat. We had a couple really bad beats last Sunday. Arizona and Tennessee had 51 points, middle of the third quarter. All I needed was a field goal the rest of the way for it to go over. Nobody scored. And then, of course, the Patriots minus the 3 to 3.5. Fumbling at the goal line. It cost them both a win and a cover. But the public is not deterred. They're coming back strong this week with the New England Patriots. In fact, they weren't really on them that heavy last week, but they're heavy on them this week. And it's probably more of a play against the New York Jets. The Jets only lost by 5 at Carolina, 19-14, but it was misleading. They gave up over 380 yards of offense. The Carolina Panthers actually moved the ball really well last week, over 6 yards per play. So the 19-point score was not indicative of how well Carolina moved the ball and how poorly the Jets defense played. Of course, they've got a true rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson, the second overall pick after Trevor Lawrence in the draft. Trevor Lawrence lost last week. Zach Wilson lost last week. Mac Jones also lost last week, but as I mentioned, fumble at the goal line made the difference in that game. New England actually had almost 400 yards of offense despite having only 16 points. So I guess the public's been doing their homework. And hey, look, the public's a lot sharper nowadays than they were 25 years ago when I started as a full-time professional handicapper in 1996. But what's that said, once again, when everything is heavy, when the money and the tickets are heavy on one side, you lose line value, and that is the case in this game, as the look-ahead line last week was New England -3. Now the bettable line is -6. So 2 straight games here. Both Denver and New England have gone from 3 last week to -6 this week. Patriots, another public road favorite at 1 o'clock Eastern. All right, we're going to move on to the Sunday night game at 8:20 Eastern on NBC Sunday night between the Chiefs and Ravens. Hey, don't forget, last Sunday I agreed with the public on the Sunday night game. It was the only one I agreed with. If you want my official plays for all of my NFL best bets for Sunday, including this Sunday night game, be sure to go to my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Use the shortcut code WT.buzz/SM, WT.buzz/SM for that shortcut code for Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get my NFL best bets for Sunday, or start taking a true investment approach. A 7-day all-sports sampler. I'm doing this because I want you to get a feel for how I handicap college football for Saturday, NFL for Sunday, Major League Baseball every day. You get 7 full days and nights of football and baseball for just $79, but you must have promo code Merril79. It's normally $119. Click the 1-week all-access all-sports and use promo code Merril79, MERRIL79, and get a full 7 days all sports for $79. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Let's look at the Sunday night game on NBC at 8:20 Eastern between the Chiefs and Ravens. Hey, look, the Chiefs have had Baltimore's number here in recent years. I think the public is well aware of that. And the Kansas City Chiefs are a very public side in this game on Sunday night. Not a surprise. The Chiefs made our video numerous times last season. If you all remember, one of the reasons this video went 31-7 last year, fading the publics when I started it in late November all the way through the Super Bowl, 31-7, fading these public sides and totals, is because a lot of the teams won but didn't cover, and the Chiefs were a textbook example of it. At least 2 or 3 different times in the regular season, they were a very public side. They won the game but failed to cover. So you're always paying a premium when you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and that looks to be the case once again this week. Look ahead line last week, before Baltimore looked bad and lost to the Raiders, didn't look bad, but lost on the Monday night primetime game. The look-ahead line was going to be Kansas City -2.5. Now the bettable line is 3.5. Yes, it's only a 1-point difference, but once again, as I said earlier, 3 is a key number. About 10% of the time, a team's going to win by exactly 3 as a field goal favorite. So the move from 2.5 to 3.5 is almost a 10% difference in long-term win percentage here with Kansas City. And once again, Baltimore was another team. I don't want to say it was a bad beat, but it somewhat was for us last week. We had the Ravens Monday night. They're up 14-0. But if you had told me Lamar Jackson was going to have 3 fumbles in the game, never would have touched it. So I feel like Baltimore was the right side in that game. They just couldn't stop the Raiders' pass attack. A little bit of a prevent defense late was part of the problem. But obviously the public saw them give up over 400 passing yards to the Raiders. And that is a concern against Patrick Mahomes and company. The Chiefs, though, last week, don't forget, they struggled to stop the pass as well. Cleveland threw for over almost 11 yards per pass attempt last week. 8.5 yards per play the Chiefs gave up. So you've got a road favorite of more than a field goal here that allowed over 8.5 yards per play. But Kansas City got the win. Baltimore lost, and that's what the public always remembers. So the Kansas City Chiefs look like a pretty public side on Sunday Night Football. Once again, the 4 most public sides for Sunday in the NFL: the LA Rams minus the 3.5, Denver Broncos minus the 6, New England Patriots also minus the 6. Those all go at 1 o'clock Eastern. And then the Sunday night game, Kansas City Chiefs minus 3.5. Those are your 4 most public sides in the NFL for Sunday. Hey, quick bonus here. And by the way, be sure to subscribe to WagerTalk TV. Also, if you want to know when these videos are released instantly each and every week, click the bell. That gets you instant alerts, but make sure you're subscribed. That's most important. Give the video a thumbs up. Give it a like if you found this useful. And I was going to say, comment below. And the reason I bring up the comments is because last week, a few of you said, hey, do you have information on over-under totals? I said, that's a great idea. I'm going to point them out this week. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the most public overplay and also the most public under. And there's a reason I'm doing that, because first of all, in general, the public plays favorites and overs. And if you notice, the 4 most public sides this week were all favorites. And by the way, if I see a public underdog, I will point it out. I didn't see one this week, but if I do, I'll point that out in the future. Public is heavy on overs in most games this week. Whenever there's an under that gets a good amount of the tickets and the percentage still, that's a real red flag. So I'm going to give you the most public over, but also an under that was up at the top of the list, which I really think is worth keeping an eye on for that reason. The most public over is the Houston game, and this one doesn't surprise me. As I mentioned earlier, talking about Jacksonville, Houston exploded last week against the Jags. A really good offensive game. It was in the mid-30s by the third quarter, and then really took their foot off the gas pedal and cruised from there for that easy win. You know, Houston's a team that was expected to be one of the worst, if not the worst, in the league this year. Had a lot of off-field problems with Deshaun Watson, not at quarterback. But they still managed 37 points last week, 58 total against Jacksonville, easily going over 45.5. Meanwhile, Cleveland played Kansas City last week. As I just mentioned, Cleveland threw the ball at will, nearly 11 yards per pass. Problem is, they averaged 8.5 yards per play and lost the game on 29 points. The problem was they gave up 33 to Kansas City, 6.5 yards per play, 62 total points. So, hey, look, it's fully obvious why the public is heavy on the Houston-Cleveland over. Hard to disagree. I mean, these are 2 teams that moved the ball at will offensively last week. By the way, the look-ahead line, once again, talking about line value, and that's why these public plays usually don't work well long-term, is because you're giving up several points of line value. That's the case once again here. The look-ahead line last week before the teams played, the over-under was going to be 45.5. And with the breakout offense by Houston and also Cleveland, obviously, it's now 48. So you're talking about almost a full field goal. So several games I brought up on the video this week, we've lost nearly 3 points in line value. That's why I do these videos each week for you. That's why you want to use this as a filter in your own handicapping as well. So once again, the most overplay this week is Houston-Cleveland over 48. Beware of that one, although it's hard to argue with a high-scoring game there. The most public under, though, once again, it's always a red flag when the public is on unders or underdogs. The most public under is the Patriots and Jets this week, under 43. One of the lowest totals, obviously, we're going to see all season. We don't see many low 40s anymore. Yet it's not low enough because the public likes it. In fact, the look-ahead line last week was going to be 44, and now it's just 43. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, talking about the Patriots, a very public side, they only scored 16 points. They allowed 17, but it's a little misleading as New England actually moved the ball offensively pretty well under rookie quarterback Mac Jones, 393 yards of offense, over 5.7 yards per play. That would normally translate to a lot more than 16 points. If they don't fumble at the goal line, they end up probably with 23 points. So the public might be wrong on this one. I'd be careful with that Jets and Patriots under. Obviously, New York struggled with only 14 points. They only allowed 19, but once again, as I mentioned earlier, the Jets gave up over 6 yards per play and over 380 yards to the Carolina Panthers, who should have scored more than 19. So 2 teams that played low-scoring unders last week, but both teams probably should have had more points scored in those games. Public likes the under 43 in the Patriots Jets. Beware of that one when you're looking at totals this Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern. Hey, once again, thanks for joining me here on this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey, watch it through again. I know there's a lot of information, 4 sides and 2 totals. I gave you a lot this week because I know there's a huge interest to know which way the public is facing with both sides and totals. Use this information wisely. Use it as a filter. And if you're looking for my official best bets, the games I've won with consistently for the past 25 years, go to my page right now at WagerTalk.com. Steve Merril, shortcut WT.buzz/SM. That's WT.buzz/SM. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Use promo code Merril79, 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL 79. Merril79 gets you a full 7 days, college football, pro football, Major League Baseball, each day and night for just $79. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, promo code Merril79. Thanks for watching. Once again, a reminder to subscribe to Wager Talk TV for great videos like this each and every day. Check out my college football top 25 preview, which is on this channel right now for this weekend. Also, give the video a thumbs up. And once again, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on the NFL this Sunday and any other ideas you have for this video or other videos I could do for you here on Wager Talk TV. Best of luck. I'll talk to you again soon.